UFC 260 Miocic vs Ngannou 2 takes place tonight, and I'm going to go through my last minute detailed predictions for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my detailed picks. I'm not talking about who I think is going to win the fight based on resume, or former opponents, or style matchups. I'm trying to predict how each and every fight on the card is going to go in its actual fight. I'm calling how the rounds are going to go. I'm calling what the scorecards are going to be. I'm calling what the finishing move is going to be as well. Starting with the early prelim opener of Marc-Andre Barriault versus Azaitar. I believe that Azaitar is going to win this bout. I think he's going to win it by 29-28 unanimous decision. And I'm going to give you another fight to relate this one to, because I think it's going to go exactly the same way. Have you guys seen Brad Riddell versus Magomed Mustafayev? I think I'm going to give it to Azaitar on the basis of giving the Mustafayev bout to Brad Riddell. I think Marc-Andre Barriault is going to be winning the majority of the bouts, but not doing enough damage. I think Azaitar is going to have these short, explosive bursts where he can sneak a couple of the rounds. I think maybe he'll lose one of the rounds. 29-28, Azaitar is what I'm going to go with. I think he's going to win this bout by winning the big moments in the middle of the bouts. Marc-Andre Barriault has got really good control time against the cage. I think he's going to use that very well. I think he's going to get Azaitar against the cage, land some of those shots on the inside, but I think Azaitar is going to drop him in one of the rounds and secure a round that way, win the explosive moments, land big shots as Marc-Andre Barriault's looking to close the distance and get in the clinch, and Azaitar is going to win big moments in the bout, and that's how he's going to secure the win. I can even see him like reversing a takedown attempt of Marc-Andre Barriault, ending up on top and landing some good ground and pound at the end of the round that maybe steals him another round. I think Azaitar is going to steal the rounds with big moments, winning himself a 29-28 unanimous decision win despite being controlled against the cage by Marc-Andre Barriault for the majority of the bout. Moving on up the card to the prelims, Shane Young versus Omar Morales. Let me brace myself here. This wasn't on the card when I made my full card prediction video, but I'm going to talk about it right now. I believe that Omar Morales is going to go out there, get it done over Shane Young. I think, again, it's going to be a decision, but this time it's going to be a 30-27 unanimous decision win for Omar Morales. I can see him keeping the range well, picking apart Shane Young from distance, landing great body kicks, great leg kicks. I think he's going to be the imposing guy in the ring. He's the much bigger guy. He's got that reach as well, and he's got the long reach in his legs. I think he's going to land front kicks, kicks from the outside the entire time. Shane Young's going to be looking to close the distance and land some good shots. Maybe he makes it a close fight, but I think Omar Morales is going to edge all of those rounds on the numbers in the striking department. 30-27 to Omar Morales, landing more kicks at range and landing great jabs the entire fight long. 30-27 against Shane Young. Moving on, Modestas Pikowskis versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. Now this one's interesting. I'm going with Michal Oleksiejczuk by KO in the first round. Okay, and that's a dangerous pick because Michal Oleksiejczuk's been a little bit up and down, but so is Modestas Bukauskas. I don't trust Modestas Bukauskas'. There's a lot of fucking S's in that name and it pisses me off. I don't trust Modestas Bukauskas' chin whatsoever. And I think Michal Oleksiejczuk's going to catch him with a straight right as he moves backwards. I think Modestas Bukauskas is going to be rushing in at the end of the first round after being maybe outlanded early on. He's going to get hit with a couple of shots that makes him think, you know what? I'm not going to really overextend. I'm going to be a little bit timid here in the first round, and I'm going to see how the second round and the third round goes for me. I think they're going to have some good exchanges early. Michal's going to land one on his chin. It's going to change the way Modestas starts fighting in the fight. He's going to be a little bit more timid. Then at the end of the round, after being outstruck by Michal Oleksiejczuk, I think he's going to go out there and try and get it back at the end of the round. And I think Michal Oleksiejczuk's going to catch him coming in with a right hand as he moves backwards, very much like Stipe Miocic versus Fabricio Verdum. And I think Michal Oleksiejczuk's going to get a first round KO over Modestas Bukauskas. Moving on up the card, Jared Gooden versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Sorry. Jesus, these fucking names. Jared Gooden versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Great fight on the card. I think this is going to be a very close one. I think it's going to end by split decision to Abubakar. What's your fucking name? To Abubakar Nurmagomedov, you stupid cunt. It's nothing to do with him. It's actually entirely on me not being able to read simple fucking letters in a certain order. I just don't understand why I can't get over that name. Abubakar. Change his name. It should be Abubakar. It sounds way fucking better, but whatever. Jared Gooden versus Abubakar. I can't stop. I actually can't stop. I've already restarted this video 3 times at this same fucking point. Okay? A little bit of a behind the scenes look here into the MMA Guru's fucking psyche. I've failed this video 3 fucking times over at this very same moment because I can't stop saying Abubakar Nurmagomedov. I think he's going to win this one by split decision. It's going to be very close. He's not good whatsoever. I'm just raging at him now. I'm sorry. No offense, Abubakar. I can't. Nurmagomedov's here. It's the one who isn't Khabib. Or any of the other fucking 10 that are in the UFC right now. I'm going to go with Abubakar Nurmagomedov by split decision. I think he's going to win rounds based on total strikes on the ground. I think Jared Gooden's going to have a lot of good moments on the feet where he's landing great shots. Then Abubakar is going to get the takedowns in those big moments. I'm so happy I nailed it that time. He's going to get the takedowns, land the big shots on the ground, get some ground and pound shots towards the end of the round. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Gooden wins a round, drops him in one of the rounds, rocks him a couple of times, and I think Abubakar is going to take him down and get the takedowns from there. Alonzo Menifield versus Fabio Cherant. I'm going to go with Alonzo Menifield here. I think he's going to KO Fabio Cherant in the first 2 rounds. I'll say the end of the first round again. I think it's going to be the midway point maybe. Not towards the very end like I feel like Modestas Bukauskas versus Michal Oleksiejczuk is going to be. I think it's going to be in the middle of the round. Alonzo Menifield's going to catch Fabio Cherant on the chin, beat him to a punch with a straight shot down the middle. Very much like Dan Ige versus Gavin Tucker, but a little bit further on into the first round. Fabio Cherant has this habit when he swings where it is very obvious he's about to swing an overhand, and you can't get away with that sometimes against certain opponents. I think Alonzo Menifield is good enough to read that on Fabio Cherant. I think he's going to catch him going for a big hook in the first round, and Menifield's going to put him away early in the first round by first round TKO. Cherant's going to be rushing forward, looking for the big punch. I've seen it in his bout before. This is exactly the same way that he got KO'd on the Contender Series. He rushes in. It's so obvious he's going to throw his rear big hand, and I think Menifield's going to catch him down the pipe when he does that and get a first round KO for Alonzo Menifield. Moving on up the card to the main card, Jamie Mullarkey versus Khama Worthy. I'm going to go with Khama Worthy here. But I worry because they're both trash, but they're decent, so it's going to be a fun scrap, I reckon. Jamie Mullarkey's going to win the first round. Khama Worthy's going to start doing better in the second round. I think Mullarkey's going to be doing okay on the feet, getting some takedowns here and there in the early rounds. Khama Worthy's going to be a little bit frustrated. In the second round, Khama Worthy's going to start stuffing a couple of more takedowns. This is going to lead to Jamie Mullarkey getting a little bit more tired as the rounds go on. I think he's going to barely secure himself the second round, but clearly win the first round by getting takedowns where he needs them and landing some good shots on the feet as well. Then in the third round, I think Khama Worthy's going to have a read on Jamie Mullarkey's takedowns and secure himself a guillotine choke finish in the third round of this bout against Jamie Mullarkey after shooting a reckless shot. I think maybe Khama Worthy is going to land a couple of good shots to the body in this bout. He's going to start working the body throughout this bout because Jamie Mullarkey is a guy who's known to slow down in his career. I think Worthy's going to work the body. Second round, Jamie Mullarkey's going to get a little bit sloppier, but still secure it maybe by a little bit of a hair. Then Khama Worthy in the third round is going to get a good read on Mullarkey's takedowns that are getting a little bit sloppier after landing some good shots on the feet. And Worthy's going to latch up the guillotine choke in the third round against Jamie Mullarkey. Moving on up the card, Gillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick on the main card of a pay-per-view. You're awake. This isn't a dream or a nightmare. This is on the main card of a pay-per-view. This is the UFC now. Gillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. I think Miranda Maverick's going to win a grappling bout. Gillian Robertson doesn't have to throw hands. She's trained by Dean Thomas. Dean Thomas is an absolute fucking cuck of a man. He won't train her like a real fighter. Otherwise, you'd end up like Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko. Some of these women's fighters aren't being trained like the men. I think Gillian Robertson is one of them. Has no idea what she's doing with her hands. I think Miranda Maverick's going to land some good shots on the feet in the first round. In the second round, land some more and then start winning the grappling exchanges as this fight goes on. I don't think she's going to be looking to grapple with Gillian Robertson in the first round, but in the second and third, I think she'll feel a little bit more confident and start mixing in those takedowns and just win the fight overall by 30-27 unanimous decision. Miranda Maverick gets it done. Moving on up the card, Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. Now it gets a little bit interesting. I'm picking Sean O'Malley by first round KO. I think he gets it done. I'm worried in case he loses because we so desperately need a star right now in the UFC. The only thing we've got is Adesanya and he doesn't even sell 1 million pay-per-views. We're in trouble right now. We need Sean O'Malley to get a win, and I do believe he will get a win here over Thomas Almeida. I think he's going to start off landing that front kick at range. Almeida's going to be a little bit frustrated not being able to get in on the inside. I think that front teep from Sean O'Malley is going to start coming off his lead leg now. I think that's a perfect adjustment that he can make because he's already got good front kicks off his rear leg, and he's got good teeps as well. I think now that he knows fighters are going to go for the chopping of the legs against him, I think that teep off the lead leg is going to be a perfect counter for Sean O'Malley. He's got long legs. He can use them at range. I think Almeida's going to be looking to chop at that calf early, and O'Malley's going to be lifting up that leg, teeping him as he does it, landing good shots to the body. Eventually, Thomas Almeida's going to look to get on the inside and land some hands, and O'Malley's going to land a pull counter right hand down the pipe on Thomas Almeida, rocking him, and then following up with some shots against the cage, maybe a head kick that's partially blocked. I think it's going to be very similar to the Jose Alberto Quinones fight, but just last a little bit longer because I respect Almeida's skill level. He's patient. He knows how he's going. He's been in the fight game before, but I think Sean O'Malley's still going to catch him at the halfway point of the first round with a pull counter right hand down the pipe and then finish off with some TKO shots for a first round TKO finish for Sean O'Malley. He gets the job done this weekend by first round TKO against Thomas Almeida. Moving on up the card, Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque, otherwise known as Vicente Luque. I'm going to go with Vicente Luque here. I like Tyron Woodley. I don't know why I'm lying to justify myself here. I don't. But Vicente Luque he's going to beat the shit out of him, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be a TKO. Woodley has mastered the art of not losing embarrassingly since his Nate Marquardt fight. Since then, Woodley's sole game plan, when it seems like he can't win a fight, is to make sure that he survives rather than make sure that he wins the fight. He's been doing this for so long, backing himself up against the cage, preying on that overhand shot to land. Luque has got, in my opinion, one of the best chins in the welterweight division. Woodley actually landed a lot of great shots on guys like Gilbert Burns, guys like Colby Covington. The Woodley of old, like 5 years ago, when he lands those shots, Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns, I mean, Burns got finished by Usman's jab. Like, Usman is not known for his power in that division. Like, maybe Usman's made some adjustments, don't get me wrong. But I think Woodley's power is going to be down a little bit, and I think you're going to notice that in this bout. And I also think you're going to notice the physical intimidation of Vicente Luque in the welterweight division. He's much bigger than Woodley. I think he's going to control the distance, land good body kicks early, land good kicks to the legs as well, and just start popping a jab out there. Not really trading with the hands in the first round. I think a lot of what he does is going to be with the kicks, and his punches aren't going to be really committed. I don't think he's going to be swinging big hooks to try and catch Woodley on the chin. I think he's going to be sort of throwing some little hands out there. They're not really meant to land. They're just meant to see what Woodley's going to do against him. Then he's going to start sneaking some body shots underneath there, like Leon Edwards does by poking that hand out there and then using the body kick underneath as well. I think he's going to land great body kicks on Tyron Woodley in this fight, and I think it's going to remind Woodley how his rib broke. And I think Woodley's going to back up against the cage, start ushering Luque into a clinch with him where he's got his back against the cage and he's got sort of a double underhooks on Luque. He's not going to use those double underhooks on Luque. Luque's going to get to an over-under position, land those body shots, land knees to the thigh, and I think the exact same thing that's happened in the last 3 fights to Woodley, and basically every fight of his career that he's lost other than the Nate Marquardt one, is going to happen again, this time against Vicente Luque, and I think he's going to land some great body kicks in this fight as well. Moving on up the card, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Oh, by the way, Luque 30-27. Moving on to the main event, Miocic versus Ngannou 2, the rematch. Now this one's interesting. I think Ngannou's got a real good chance of winning, but I'm going with Stipe Miocic. OH! I'm going to go Stipe Miocic getting this one done by TKO in the 4th round. No. Yes. 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 Stipe Miocic by 4th round TKO. I was going to say 5th, but I want it in the 4th. I think it's going to happen in the 4th as well. I even don't maybe see Stipe Miocic having the energy in the 5th round himself to get a good finish on Ngannou. You've got to have a lot of power and a lot of volume to finish Ngannou on the ground. We saw that after the Stipe Miocic first fight. I think his cardio's improved. I think he's going to use great footwork. And I think his plan is not to shoot a takedown straight away because he knows Ngannou's going to be looking for that uppercut. I think Stipe Miocic's plan is this. He's going to try and catch Ngannou with straight right hands on counters after Ngannou throws that first shot. I think he knows Ngannou's going to look for uppercuts, and I think Ngannou's going to get cracked with right hands down the pipe, on the chin, whilst he's looking for those uppercuts to catch Stipe, and only once those right hands have landed, will Stipe then shoot for the takedowns underneath them. So, whereas before, Stipe would just sort of avoid the striking department and go for the takedowns, I think this time he's going to land and then take down on Francis Ngannou, and I think that's going to avoid him getting caught with an uppercut, and I think Miocic is going to ragdoll Ngannou. Ngannou's going to get back up a couple of times, but Miocic's clinch work has improved. His grappling has improved as well. I think he's going to use that a lot in this bout. I think Ngannou's going to get back up in the first round, and people are going to start talking about, wow, this is the improvement in Ngannou. Ngannou got back up in the first round a bunch of times in the first fight as well. I just feel like Stipe's going to keep wearing on him as the rounds go on. Ngannou's not going to like it, and I think Stipe's going to have a lot more work to the body on the feet in this round when it comes to the late second and third round. I don't see him going to the body early on Ngannou because you don't want to risk that against Ngannou getting that close, going for the body shots. But I think Miocic is going to land straight right hands down the pipe in the first round, start working the body towards the end of the second round, and I think a lot of his ground and pound shots are going to be to the body with those knees to the body that he was landing before, and a couple of good shots to the body from half guard like Jan Blachowicz was landing against Israel Adesanya. We've seen those shots landed before. I think Stipe Miocic is going to wear him down, TKO him in the fourth round, very Overeem versus Walt Harris-esque. I think he's going to have Ngannou's arm trapped, landing good shots to the head, and I think it's just going to be, rather than Ngannou going out cold or getting concussed or getting slept, I think it's just going to be that Ngannou just can't get out of the position that Stipe has him in a really awkward position, and I think he's just going to take too many shots on the chin, and the referee's going to step in because Ngannou's not intelligently defending himself, and Miocic will get a fourth round TKO against Francis Ngannou. Like and subscribe, click that button up there. Goodbye, I'll see you later. Toodle pip. Fingers crossed I'm correct on this card. Goodbye.